Do you know what truly makes you happy? For a long time, I thought I knew what made me happy. I've come to see that actually I've been living a bit of a lie for the last 2 years. And being a pro bikini athlete and a counselor and psychotherapist has allowed me to really combine the two and actually see that I have been in denial for quite a bit of time about the happiness I got from being an athlete. I see now that what truly makes me happy is very different to what I thought, but I'm going to take you guys on that journey with me. I'm going to help you see what you can do to truly make you happy and how important it is to really develop not only your body, but also your mind. Your mindset is very important. And that is why I can welcome you today to my podcast, where it is not all about your aesthetics, but also your mental health, your thought process, and as I say, tuning in to what actually makes you happy in life. I'm going to take it all the way back to when I first started competing. I was around 21. I was going to do my first show, and I remember I just wanted to try it. I just wanted to try competing. I had started the year off a little bit, and like it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but basically a hairdresser bleached all my hair off, and it really massively affected my self-confidence. I was absolutely devastated, and I remember being so devastated that my partner's sister came home to me crying and thinking somebody had died. I was that gutted about my hair. And something just switched in my mind when she said that. And I remember being like, if the only thing that I have going for me is my hair. Now, don't get me wrong, I know hair is a massive part of our identities as women. I love my hair. I've literally had this done like the other day and I feel 10 out of 10. Um, but I remember being like, if the only thing I've really got to live for is my hair, I need to start living more. Like, genuinely, I do. It's not just, as I say, all about aesthetics. So I started going off and experiencing more. I wanted to try new things. I went to Australia, traveled for a little bit. I started new classes, tried different activities, and one of those things was pole fitness. I'd always wanted to do it, so I was like, right, I'm gonna give that a go, and that's where I met my pole fitness trainer, and she was doing a comp. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go watch. I'm going to support her. And I watched her prep. I watched her physique develop. And I was like, that's incredible. I want to do that. So I did. I literally did like a 9-week prep. And that first ever prep was the start of me developing in my mind. Dedicating to myself in that way where I was so disciplined, I stick to everything to a T, and I watched my whole body transform and get leaner. I was like, oh, I can do anything. I can literally achieve anything. Like if you just put your mind to it, you can do it. And it genuinely did like really unlock a mindset to me that made me see that there's not really any limitations in life. And it sounds ridiculous because obviously I'm talking about a body changing, but when you dedicate to yourself in that way, you do see that it is all about your mind and your actions aligning things to achieve what you want to achieve. And as I say, this was just the start of the journey for me. And this isn't like a mindset you just unlock when you do a competition prep towards a show. This is a mindset you can unlock in day to day life. You can unlock from like just starting to go to the gym, investing in yourself more, maybe following a diet, transforming yourself, because you start to really see the capabilities of you as a person, which is amazing. So anyway, I digress. I will do that a lot. So again, you have to bear with me. I got to my show, Mint loved it. And then obviously after you've done a competition prep, you get super lean. You step up on stage. As soon as I stepped up on stage, I was like, I belong here. This is what I'm meant to do. And I'm very spiritual. And I do believe that you know what is meant for you. You know in your gut, you feel it. But again, I'll probably get onto that in the future. And I knew when I was up there that this is what I wanted to do. So got shredded, did that, amazing. And then obviously you go into the next part. After you've done a competition prep, you have to start putting the weight back on because it's unhealthy to stay that lean. And I remember being in a place where I was pretty chilled with putting weight on. I was fine with it, it's all good. So I put a bit of weight on, and then I went and I did another competition prep the next year and loved it. Got shredded, got up on stage again, did a few shows, mint. I just kept seeing over and over again, if I just keep applying myself, I can keep progressing with this. I can keep achieving what I really want to achieve, and I loved it. And I kept going, and it just felt amazing. And it was just a hobby that I was so, so passionate about. And it gave me so much purpose and allowed me to see purpose is really important in our lives, like it really is. So ensuring that you always have some sort of purpose, whether it is a competition prep or whether it is dedicating to yourself or, a career or, a family, purpose gives us so much. So again, it helped develop my mindset even more, seeing the importance and purpose in our life. Now, again, did these competitions, loved it. I went through the whole weight loss, and then I would dedicate to the other side of the process, which was the weight gain, especially when it comes to developing muscle, because bodybuilding and competing obviously is massively about ensuring that you develop muscle to showcase that up on stage. So I would dedicate, I keep hitting the mic, so apologies if that is affecting what you guys can hear. But I would dedicate to both sides of the process. So dedicate to the weight loss, dedicate to the weight gain, mint. And I just allowed myself to do it. I didn't let my mind, take over too much when I was in those early stages of competing. And then kept going, did it a few years. And then I remember having my least successful season. And my least successful season was not successful, not because I didn't dedicate to my prep to a T, which I did 100%, gave it my all, gave the diet my all, gave the training my all. It was because my mindset wasn't in the right place the entire prep. The whole prep, I was putting massive amounts of pressure on myself. I was dealing with massively stressful situations. I was in a very negative relationship. It was not a good environment that I was in. And I remember I did the shows, and I remember my physique wasn't playing ball. I felt rubbish in myself. I was depressed. And I came out with that prep after I'd done the shows, and I came out in a place where I was suicidal. It was awful. I remember having to move in with my best friend for a little bit because I couldn't be left on my own. And it showed me in that time that I'd dedicated to something. I'd dedicated fully into it, as I always would. But my mindset wasn't right because my environment wasn't right. My relationships weren't right. My thought process wasn't right. So, yeah, I got to stage, I achieved that. I did everything I needed to do. But because my mind weren't in the right place, there was no fulfillment. There was no true accomplishment. There was no good feelings that stemmed from it. And if anything, I got to stage and then I ended up even worse off afterwards because then I'd lost the only thing that was giving me focus and giving me purpose. I'd lost that because I'd done the shows and I just spiraled. Luckily, I came out the other side of it. And then that year that I was in the worst place I was ever in, I then went on to do another prep and I won my pro card. And that was the best prep I'd ever done in my life. It was fantastic. My mindset had shifted again. I'd gotten out of that relationship. I'd surrounded myself with the right relationships, the right friendships. My mindset had developed more. I moved out on my own. It was great. Like, it was really good. I had a coach that really believed in me and everything aligned. Everything was right. So again, that purpose came back, that fulfillment. My mindset was good. I felt good in myself. And then I won my pro card, which was the cherry on top, but the high was incredible. But again, after that prep, unfortunately, things spiraled for me and my mindset deteriorated again. Because after I won my pro card, I had literally got into this mindset space, belief, whatever, that I had to act differently now. I could no longer act in line with who I was. And for the first however many seasons that I competed, I just did what was best for me. I showed up in my prep as I needed to, and I enjoyed my off seasons. Like, there was no pressure. I didn't have to act a certain way. I was doing it for a hobby. I loved it. It gave me purpose. But, at times my mind weren't 100% there. But I did everything in the way that I wanted to, and it worked. And then as soon as I won my pro card, I had put this pressure on myself to act as a pro, which did not act again in line with who I was and what I wanted and where I wanted to be. And I started acting in ways that just weren't me. And I think back and I'm literally like, I can't believe you tried to, just be on plan 24/7 like a robot. Like, that's not me. I wouldn't do that. Like, I love going out. I love food. I've always, every single season on the run up to when I won my pro card, I'd always be like, spending my off season going, I'm a massive foodie. If I put on a load of body fat, I don't care because I'm happy. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying my relationships. It was mint. Like, I loved it. But as soon as I won that pro card and I decided to intake a mindset and act in a way that wasn't aligned with me, pressure, too much, self-doubt, negativity, bad relationships, like, I was not good at all. And that's how I ended up developing an eating disorder, because I was not getting any good, I was not getting any natural dopamine, any good vibes anywhere around me. So I was leaning into food like mad. I was trying to act in a way that wasn't aligned with me, as I said, being on plan 24/7 and not allowing myself any freedom. So when I was having like a meal out with my friends, I'd just binge and I'd binge and I'd binge and I'd binge. And it got to a point where it became so overwhelming. I lost all control with food. And it wasn't just a weekend thing before my next check-in, try and get the weight off. Like, that's what I would do. I would try and undo all the damage I'd done by restricting even more. Instead, I would end up in this vicious cycle of leaning on food for any sort of positive feeling, stimulation, comfort, pleasure, because I wasn't getting anywhere else in my life, and that was it. Now, I got myself out of that eventually, and I still, even when I got out of it and I wasn't binging anymore and I wasn't leaning on food for comfort and pleasure and dopamine and to feel good, my mindset still wasn't right. I still was not in a good place because I still weren't acting in line with me. I was still trying to act as this athlete that I just wasn't. And it fed into every area of my life. Like, it really did. Oh, I feel quite emotional talking about it. I might I might shed a tear. So as I embarked onto my prep for my first ever pro show, now the year previous I had competed to achieve my pro status as a bikini athlete, got that incredible prep, like the best mindset. Everything was just right. It was amazing. And of course, as I'd said, like, after I'd won that pro status, I fell into a bad place with my mental health, struggled with the eating disorder. And I'd knocked the eating disorder on its head to an extent. They never truly go away. Anybody who struggles with eating disorders knows that the triggers are always there, the behaviors are always there. It's so weird. But anyway, I'd managed to get a hold of that, and then I was embarking on my first ever prep to my first pro show. So obviously I'd won my pro status year before, and I was going towards that first pro show. So the standard gets incredibly high. The league is really, really tough. And I was so excited to do my first ever prep for a pro show, but I knew I still wasn't in the right mindset. I knew that the relationship I was in at the time was not a positive one. I felt very alone in my prep. I didn't feel very supported throughout. And as I said, the remnants of the eating disorder was still there. So I was still trying to navigate that. And I just felt like it was such like I had to do the pro show. I had to do my pro debut. I'd created this invisible pressure on myself to get up there and to do this show because I just felt like, oh, I have to act like a pro. I need to keep going, need to keep competing. And it was more so that I was competing as a bikini athlete because I felt like I had to now, like it was my career now, rather than I'm doing this for fun anymore. Now, I always enjoy a prep and I always enjoy getting up on stage. I love the routine of it, I love the structure of it, but the passion just wasn't there. And I did it. I got up there, I got top five. Wow, amazing. I was buzzing. But honestly, I remember getting that top five and feeling like I don't actually deserve this because I wasn't even as passionate as I normally would be in a prep. I didn't feel like I was in the right mindset throughout. I felt alone with it. Like I say, I always show up 100% for a prep. I will, do everything I can. But I know that I didn't give the same passion and it's the same 100% as I normally would because of all these internal pressures, social media, mindset, people around me, you know, n- I wasn't aligning with what I really wanted in my life at the time. And then I came out with that. I managed my post show really well. And then I went into my most recent season. And this, again, I just felt like things spiraled even more with the pressure, with the um, toxicity of it, with showing up in ways I thought everybody else wanted me to in order to be a pro. And I can honestly reflect back now and see how much for the last 2 years I was just completely consumed by external validation, external beliefs, and internalizing them into myself and thinking I needed to be a certain way in order for everyone else to be happy. And because, competing makes me happy. It makes me happy as an athlete. Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. No, I loved it when it was a hobby. But as soon as it turned into a pro career, that was it. Everything became too overwhelming and I really, really struggled. And the second prep as a professional athlete was equally as not positive. My health deteriorated massively. I isolated myself because I moved to Dubai. Again, that's a story for another day because I moved and I came back. Isolated myself, didn't have the support, didn't have a close circle because I lived in Dubai away from everybody. My health took a massive decline. I just, yeah, there's nothing even else more to say. Like, that's it. It just was not positive. I got up on stage too lean. I started to go catabolic. I lost muscle and I was so unhappy, like so unhappy the whole way through. But I kept showing up thinking that's what I needed to do. But I didn't want to do that. And again, I didn't live in line with what I truly wanted. But you know what? Going through the last 2 years that I have, moving to Dubai, and again, I knew I would get emotional and having to take a step back from bikini just really made me see that for a long time I have not been living in line with who I really want to be and what really makes me happy. And those 2 years are so reflective to me now. Living in Dubai is so reflective to me because it showed me exactly what I don't want in my life. Getting up on stage as I did showed me that I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to push those boundaries. And after I did that season, I'm basically here now off the back of it because I knew I would have to take time out. I knew that I would either need to grow more to fit into bikini or I would need to retire and take a step back. And when I got back to the UK and I moved back, I wasn't really sure where it was going to take me, but all I knew was I was going to live for now. I was going to live to do the things that made me happy for now. I wasn't going to dedicate to growing muscle. I wasn't going to dedicate to another prep and getting on stage again. And I wasn't going to lean so much into what I thought other people wanted me to do or do things that I thought I needed to do as an athlete. Instead, I was just going to do what was best for me. And the second I took that pressure off, I felt so much more myself. Felt so much more alive and for the last 6 months going into this year, I've been focusing so much on developing my mind, developing my life, finding what makes me happy, doing things that maybe don't align with being a professional bikini athlete, and instead doing them more in line with what Emily Olivia wants to do and who she wants to be, and not putting my entire identity on being this professional athlete, because that's just not me. That's not who I am. Who I am is someone who just wants to be happy, wants to feel good in her body, wants to feel good in her mind, not worry about what other people think and say, which is what I've done for so long, and not put pressure to be a certain way because it's just not real, and it's just not happiness there. Happiness is being who you truly feel inside that you are, striving for the things that you really want to achieve in life, because you're only here once. Like, you are alive once, you get one shot at this. I want to live my life knowing that I did everything that I ever wanted to do, and I didn't worry about what other people thought or said along the way. And I've worried about what other people thought or said or expected of me for the last 2 years. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, no, actually, that is not a way to live, and that is not where you're going to find happiness. And that is what I want to share on this podcast. I want to share how you can lean into your life and you can develop and you can be happy, and you don't need to worry about what other people think or what other people say or what other people expect from you. What you need to worry about in life is that you're happy and that you're leaning into doing the things that you want to do, and you're not afraid to do them, and you can see that you can do them, because you can do anything you want in your life. You can achieve anything. You can go anywhere. You can be whoever you want to be that aligns with who you are. And that's the thing. It's making sure that whatever you do makes you happy. And in this podcast, I'm going to help you see how you can do that. And I'm going to help you lean into you more and not be afraid to lean into you. So, yeah, we're going to go on that journey together.